Well, Psycho Trump went from unconditional surrender to let's have a ceasefire pretty quickly when he realised reality. So what does this mean about the situation? Well, obviously Iran was fighting for survival, backs against the wall, something really to fight for, whereas Israel, who used the bombing with impunity and never got bombed themselves because Hamas were firing fake rockets at them to shoot down with their fake Iron Dome system of, if you go to Odyssey, I've got 4D Bullshit Patrol channel there. Years ago I uploaded how it's fake. Maybe I thought Iran was also firing some fake missiles, but you know what? They do have a lot of fire coming out of the back of the rockets in the terminal phase, and it may have something to do with flares that distract the actual air defences that don't work anyway, and to obfuscate where the real missile's heading. So they were fake, but they were flares. I think they were just decoys actually that I was referring to as fake missiles in those videos I uploaded on Odyssey. But nonetheless, the evidence is there to show that Hamas was firing fake rockets because they were funded and supplied by Israel in order to have a terrorist organisation to justify their overthrow and genocide. So that's what that was all about. And anyway, so where are we? So Israel got hit pretty hard with real missiles, obviously, very, very badly. And they're privileged people who are used to dishing it out, not taking it. And they got passports for other countries. They can all piss off because they were living. It was a playground living off, funded by the US taxpayer or Western taxpayer, basically, any fiat currency of any country in the West. Because obviously their oligarchs own the Federal Reserve, therefore the US Congress via AIPAC, they're all funded. It's just a big buyout of sellouts. Piers Morgan, the mainstream media, the whole lot, right? So that's why they run the world. So these privileged people don't want to fight to the death, they fuck off. Okay, now what comes next? Well, hopefully the ceasefire will be maintained, because if not, the Straits of Hormuz, as I like to call them, Hormuz, will be shut out, and the US dollar will collapse, by the way. The Federal Reserve is relying on a petrodollar, which was born in, 1971-ish under Nixon, because they got caught printing more money than gold, classic Jewish trick, and they did exactly what the Federal Reserve was supposed to stop: bank runs. And France couldn't get their gold back because there was nothing in Fort Knox, because anyway, so, and then they backed their dollar by petrodollar, oil, and now it's backed by war, because to keep it going they need Iran's oil. They're just going, because they keep printing, and they need more oil to back it up. They need more war to control the oil. So now Iran can completely fuck that up, and so can Yemen. They can completely fuck that up. I think that's why the ceasefire came. Hopefully it holds out, because if not, and the Straits of Hormuz get shut off, we're all fucked. Expect interest rates of 20% or more. I think it's pretty bad as it is, having all this funding for the Ukrainian war. We're devastated. People are pushing shit uphill with a pointy stick these days, all around the West. Bit of a disaster, not to mention the immigration of people that are pretty useless from said countries. There's a lot of useless people from these countries just getting welfare because they're just unemployable. China, on the other hand, I'm a solar installer. I went to a training night, and one manufacturer who sponsored the event was showing their factory. And you know what? It's in China, no sweatshops. There's no cheap labour. Cheap labour is not competitive to automation. I've always said that because I'm an industrial electrician. Yeah, I've seen machines for like 20 years ago. I used to service machines. This machine is spitting out nuts and bolts at like hundreds of thousands a day. And I'm like, no sweatshop can produce bolts as quickly as this machine. And there's just one man operating it. So that's the kind of thing automation achieves, and that's why we have modern civilization. So we need more technicians and electricians and engineers and this and that, and less pencil pushers, because in the West all we got is pencil pushers, and that's why we can't produce anything. And same with the military industrial complex, they're fucked. That's why they ran out of their useless, expensive, overpriced bag of $90,000 bag of rivets, spare parts for an F-35. That's the other thing why they need a ceasefire. The F-35 needs 10 hours of maintenance for every hour of flight, so they need it. They're running out. Iran knew they were running out and could have kept punishing them, but Iran doesn't want escalation. They're not about taking over. They don't want it to escalate either. So they agreed, even though they had the edge. Only the West being completely aggressive, totally bellicose, which is a word I don't know how. A lot of words I don't pronounce properly because I've read them. Like hegemony. I can't even say hegemony anymore because that's how you're supposed to say it. Because I read it long before I heard it, and it's only become a popular word in the last year since we've been talking about Israel's hegemony. But before that, I read it, and it was Hegemony, and I used to say hegemony, and that's so I can't not say hegemony anymore. But anyway, there's another word, bellicose. I think that's how you pronounce it. It means very aggressive. Always looking for an excuse to come up with some false trumped up charge to invade somebody. So Iran isn't like that. So they took the ceasefire anyway. And I hope, and they need to really work on their air defences in the meantime. I'll tell you what, if all they got was intel from Russia, they need to put it together a whole lot better because they got spanked as well. But the weak Achilles heel is that Israel has to fly all the way up to their border with their airplanes to drop their much smaller missiles than these thousands and thousands and thousands of heavy duty rockets that Iran has, and they don't muck around with. I've always said that too. If you look at my if you find me, dig me up somewhere on the internet, 4D Bullshit Patrol, I've been saying it even before the Ukraine war. Airplanes are obsolete. Missiles are the new. That's why what Russia did with their asymmetrical development. Why would you build an aircraft carrier? It's a couple of $1 billion worth of sitting duck, nice big juicy target, useless in a day of hypersonic missiles. Anyway, so good luck everybody, and hopefully we won't see 20% interest rates, and we'll see a whole bunch of privileged people piss off from Israel back to the country that they parasitically live in. And we'll see Israel fuck off altogether. Hopefully, they're still killing people in Gaza though. That's the problem, isn't it? What a shame. Oh well, see you later.